AI feedback. What do students really think about AI feedback? Do they like it? Do they not like it? Is it worth time? Is it not? Does it circumvent what the professor is going to give us feedback as well? And the short answer is students love the feedback because they don't feel any judgment coming. For some reason, we don't feel judgment coming when it's coming from a machine. We learned that back in 1966, like when we talked about ELIZA in a previous video. And because they don't feel that judgment, they like the mechanical sort of stuff being feedback being given by artificial intelligence, by a machine. So, your writing standards, whether you're APA, MLA, Chicago style, whatever, all that stuff, put the comma here, do this, do that, that sort of stuff. They love it when it comes from artificial intelligence because it is generally more clear and more of it as well. What they love from the professor or the instructor is that experiential feedback. So when I did this within my experience, this happened. So those things are very important still. So just like we said, AI is not going to take your job, but it will change it. This is one way that it is changing your job as an instructor, as a teacher, as a professor. The way we give feedback is changing because your experiential feedback is now more valuable. And because AI can do the mechanical stuff, guess what? It gives you more time to give people that feedback. Now, we did a uh, a study with Grammarly, believe it or not, with Grammarly and automated AI feedback. I shouldn't say automated, I should say real time AI feedback. And guess what we found? First off, it freed up instructors a lot to give experiential feedback from how they write, things like that. And the GPA outcomes in the courses that had Grammarly versus ones that did not were drastic. And some people might think right away, well, of course, it wrote the paper for them. No, it did not. What it did was it gave them suggestions, and by the mere um, act of them reading the suggestions, accepting. So it didn't do the work for them, but it did, just like Grammarly. When you type, it'll fix spelling and grammar and things like that as you accept it. So it was actually teaching them as well on the way. So we found that they actually became better writers towards the end of the course because that feedback was also acting as education or training on how to write better. And it was real time. So it was very meaningful for them. So it gave the learners what they needed when they needed it. And these are the actual GPA outcomes from our study. So forget, I think this was like 3.36 versus a 2.25 or something like that within our English 101 course, and within our English 105 courses. We had drastic outcome differences as well, a little bit less than the English 101 as far as the grade outcomes. But look, still that big disparity. So when we talk about utilizing AI and people think about what's going to do the work, no, it's actually going to help teach along the way. And the interesting thing is, students in the course that had Grammarly, they had a free professional Grammarly account given to them for the courses. They learned more how to write. They felt better about writing when they left the course, and they had a greater sense that their instructor was there supporting them throughout the course. And the same instructor taught both courses, and they did the exact same work in each. So it's kind of amazing how a tool can create that instructor presence as well that we talked about earlier.